Team USA.
Adebayo. LeBron! Dazzling!
From the Dream Team in 1992
behind the back feed, Pippen takes from Jordan.
to the Redeem Team in 2008.
You're never going to thread the needle with that pass against these Americans. Kobe to LeBron! Are you kidding me? What a...
Team USA has always had one goal, and that's to dominate the rest of the world. With the NBA having a history of having amazing players, it's no surprise that when the roster gets made, outrage accompanies it. On the 1992 Dream Team, which is widely considered the best team ever composed, it had its fair share of controversy when Isaiah Thomas, the Detroit Pistons point guard, was snubbed from the team. It was later revealed that Michael Jordan had a heavy influence behind that decision. But what about this 2024 roster? There's been controversy of roster snubs and who should be getting the starting positions. Before we get into it, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. As soon as the 2024 USA roster was released, fans around the world started talking. From questions about the roster to who's starting, nothing was left off the table. The roster consisted of Stephen Curry, Devin Booker, Bam Adebayo, Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, Anthony Edwards, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Halliburton, Drew Holiday, LeBron James, Jason Tatum, and Kawhi Leonard. Team USA later announced that Leonard, in agreement with the Clippers, will be removed from the team due to his infamous leg condition.
No surprise that we didn't see Kawhi Leonard. He's no longer on the team. I kind of told y'all that would happen.
Leonard was replaced with Derek White, which we'll get into later in this video. Fans were disappointed to hear that Leonard would no longer be a part of the team, but also weren't surprised due to him being injury-prone for the last several years. Regardless, Team USA is looking stacked and unbeatable. Team USA later went on to announce that 39-year-old LeBron James would be a starter on the team. Team USA's coach, Steve Kerr, stated, "All 12 players on this roster will be in the Hall of Fame someday. So how do you pick 5 out of the 12? The idea is you find combinations that click. The goal of LeBron starting is for him to take the position of a point forward, which will allow Curry to relinquish his traditional role as a point guard and free him up to play off of the ball more, which is where he's the most dangerous. Chasing Curry around screens all game is extremely exhausting, which is why Team USA plans to exploit that. But with that even being the case, some fans couldn't help but think that the starting position should go to a younger player, which will allow LeBron to take more of a backseat leadership role at his age. On July 10th, at the USA Basketball Showcase in Las Vegas, Team USA faced off against Canada, which is predicted to be one of Team USA's hardest matchups, due to them having Jamal Murray, SGA, RJ Barrett, Dillon Brooks, and Kelly Olynyk. Team USA ran extremely small with their starting lineup with Booker, Curry, Holiday, James, and Embiid. The outcome was as expected, with Team USA winning 86-72, but many thought the game was a little closer than expected. Now, obviously moving forward, Team USA will get in better shape and make necessary adjustments. Speaking of adjustment, let's rewind a little back to Team USA's training camp. It was announced that Leonard, as expected, withdrew from the team. Leonard's been dealing with issues with his knees for years now. In fact, it dates back to his time on the Spurs. But when Leonard went to the Clippers, he tore his ACL in the 2021 Western Conference semifinals, which caused him to miss the entire next season. In the 2022-23 season, Leonard ended up tearing his meniscus in the first round of the playoffs against the Suns. And now Leonard is dealing with inflammation in his knee, which is an obvious cause for concern. When Leonard withdrew, Leonard received lots of support. LeBron told the media, "He's a brother of ours. He's part of the fraternity, no matter if he's here or not. He has to take care of himself, and that's all that matters." Former player Grant Hill released a statement saying, "I know what it's like to want to do something, but your body's just not right. And so I applaud him for coming here and being willing to sacrifice, give up his summer, and represent our country." Fans began speculating who Team USA would replace Leonard with. Team USA made a quick decision and chose Derek White from the Celtics. While most will agree White's one of the better players in the league now, there are other players that perhaps deserve that spot over him. A couple of names that come to mind are Tyrese Maxey from the 76ers. Maxey's been the key reason the 76ers have been staying afloat amid Embiid's injuries. While being only 23 years old, he's averaged 25.9 points, 6.2 assists, and 3.7 rebounds. And in this season that just concluded, he really made a name for himself, impressing the world with his handles and ability to finish at the rim. Another name that comes to mind is Jaylen Brunson. Brunson is arguably a top 3 point guard in the league right now. This season, he averaged 28.7 points, 6.7 assists, and 3.6 rebounds. But the obvious reason Brunson was passed on was due to his hand injury he received in the playoffs against the Pacers. People also threw Kyrie Irving's name out there. Kyrie has 2 gold medals, which he won in the 2014 World Cup and the 2016 Olympics in Rio. This season, Kyrie averaged 25.6 points, 5.2 assists, and 5 rebounds. Analysts believe that initially, Drew Holiday and Kyrie's names were pitted against each other for the spot, but Holiday got the nod due to his defensive capabilities. But one name being skipped had the most controversy, and that's Jaylen Brown. This season, Brown averaged 23 points, 5.5 rebounds, 3.6 assists, and 1.2 steals per game. In the playoffs, Brown arguably played better than Jason Tatum, who is widely considered the best player and leader of the team. This earned Brown the Eastern Conference Finals MVP and the Finals MVP when the Celtics beat the Mavs. Brown took his confusion to Twitter once the decision was announced to select Derek White instead of him. The 3-time NBA All-Star Gilbert Arenas spoke about the matter on his show, The Gil's Arena Show.
The reason is Kawhi is a forward. They replaced a forward with another guard, right? If you're going to go another point guard, you might as well get damn near the second best point guard in the league last year, which is Brunson.
Facts.
This was a surprise to many, as a player like Brown can play the shooting guard role or a small forward role. Now, Brown going to Twitter to voice his frustration probably wasn't the smartest move due to him having to play alongside his teammate Derek White next season, but I'm sure this was a huge surprise to him. One can't help but think of the politics behind the scene. Were there players or coaches who didn't want to play with Brown? It's possibly the reason, but Brown should focus on getting ready for the next season and to continue to prove the world wrong. Like I mentioned earlier, this isn't the first time a Team USA snub caused controversy and confusion. Back on the 1992 USA team, Isaiah Thomas was snubbed and it caused outrage. And years later, it was finally revealed that Michael Jordan, among other players, had influence in that decision. Isaiah Thomas was one of the most hated players in that time due to him being the ringleader of the Bad Boys Detroit Pistons team. While some would say Isaiah Thomas did it to himself by forming enemies, others argue they should have given him a chance. Snubs are going to happen every time USA forms a team, but the reasoning behind snubs is the problem. We also have players who've been dealing with constant injuries, like Durant. A player as skilled as Durant rightfully made the team, but concerns are rising about his health as he has not been able to practice with the team and has missed both USA Showcase games so far. Steve Kerr has been downplaying any concerns about the injury. Kerr stated, "I know there's still a couple weeks before we have to make a decision roster-wise, so we're just taking it day by day. The question is, if Durant is released from the team, who should take his spot?" Let us know in the comments what you think. It would make the most sense to pick a player who could play the small forward position, and a player that comes to mind is Paul George. The 6'8" forward recently made the sports world spin when he signed with the 76ers. George is 34 years old now and still averaged 22 points, 5.2 rebounds, 3.5 assists, and 1.5 steals. George would be a perfect fit for the team due to his defensive presence and scoring ability. But the last time George put on a USA jersey was in 2014, and the whole world paused when he had the devastating leg injury during a scrimmage game. Many thought George would never play the game of basketball again due to how severe the leg injury was. I think, given the opportunity, George would accept the invitation again and join the team. But I do think before selecting George, they should select Jaylen Brown, due to them being roughly the same height. Kevin Durant missing showcase games has affected the team. On July 15th, Team USA played against Australia. This time, Team USA went with a bigger starting lineup: Curry, Edwards, Tatum, LeBron, and Embiid. The highest scorers on the team were Anthony Davis with 17 points and Devin Booker with 16 points. Team USA beat Australia by only 6 points, which is concerning considering Australia isn't Team USA's biggest threat. Though these games are intended for chemistry building and conditioning, the games shouldn't be this close. Regardless, we can only hope that Team USA will get their act together and win the gold. What do you think? Do you think Team USA made the right choices with the roster? Do you think they'll go undefeated? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.